Before you dive in, take a deep breath and prepare your heart, because what you are about to hear is one of the most emotional and heartbreaking moments ever leaked in recent celebrity drama history. And if you love intense stories like this, make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next unbelievable chapter, because what happened today will leave you speechless long after this video ends. The story begins in a quiet hallway, far away from cameras, lights, and the usual noise that fills the sets where these stars work. Shen Yue stood with her back turned, her shoulders tense, her breath uneven, as if the weight of the entire world was resting on her. Her silence alone could have shattered the walls around her, but what came next broke the hearts of everyone who witnessed it. Miles Wei stood just a few steps behind her. He looked drained, exhausted from fighting battles no one else could see. His eyes were red, his hands trembling, and every part of him seemed to be holding back a storm. For days, rumors had been swirling. People whispered about arguments, about misunderstandings, about choices no one wanted to make. But no rumor could have prepared anyone for the moment that unfolded between them. Shen Yue finally turned around, her face blank, her expression unreadable. She did not scream, she did not cry, she did not blame him. Instead, she looked at Miles with a quiet sadness that cut deeper than any spoken word. That silence shook him more than any insult could have. He took a step forward, then another, but Shen Yue held up a hand, stopping him instantly. Miles felt his entire world slip away in a single second. His voice was shaking as he tried to speak, but his words died in his throat. That was when Shen Yue said it. Softly at first, but with a finality that echoed through the hallway. She said she could not keep doing this. That her heart was tired. That she needed space, not tomorrow, not later, but now. Then she turned away. That moment felt like the sky collapsed on top of Miles. His chest tightened, his breath short and desperate, his hands clutching at nothing as if he could pull her back with sheer willpower. When Shen Yue took her first step away from him, he stumbled forward, unable to hold back anymore. He reached out as if trying to grab the last piece of his life slipping from his fingers. "Please don't leave me." Those were the words that broke him. His voice cracked, shaking with emotion that could not be hidden. It was raw, filled with pain, fear, and longing. Witnesses said they had never seen Miles Wei like that, not even once. His reputation for being composed, calm, and mature shattered in an instant. He was no longer the admired actor, no longer the competent star. In that moment, he was simply a man watching the person he loved walk away. Shen Yue froze mid-step, her shoulders trembling. For a moment, it seemed like she might turn around. The silence stretched painfully, each second heavier than the last. Miles took another step toward her, his eyes pleading, his breath uneven as he tried to keep himself from collapsing completely. Then Shen Yue whispered that this was not what she wanted, not truly. She said she had fought for them, tried for them, hoped for them, but every time she reached out, she felt him slipping away. She said she needed to find herself again, before she could save anyone else. And with that, she walked forward. Miles could not hold himself together any longer. His knees gave way and he sank to the floor, his hand covering his face as his emotions poured out uncontrollably. The heartbreak was too much, too heavy, too real. He kept repeating the words "please don't leave me," each time softer, more fragile, as if the phrase itself was the only thing keeping him breathing. Crew members nearby froze, unsure whether to step forward or stay back. Some stared in shock, others wiped their eyes, but no one dared to interrupt the moment. It felt too private, too raw, too sacred. The kind of moment that reveals the truth behind the glamorous images the world sees. Shen Yue continued down the hallway, each step heavier than the last. Her own tears fell silently as she pressed a hand to her chest, trying to hold herself together. She did not look back, not because she did not want to, but because she knew that if she did, she would run back into his arms and lose herself all over again. Outside, the evening air hit her like a wave, cool and unforgiving. She wrapped her arms around herself as if trying to hold on to the last bit of strength she had left. She whispered that she was sorry, even though she knew Miles could not hear her anymore. Inside, Miles remained on the floor, unable to move. His world had shifted, cracked, and fallen apart all at once. The man who had always been strong enough for everyone else was now struggling to stand, to breathe, to understand how everything he loved could slip away in a single moment. Hours passed before he finally pulled himself together enough to stand. He wiped his face, his steps unsteady as he moved toward the door. He looked out into the night, hoping she might still be there, but the street was empty. She was gone. And yet, even in that heartbreaking silence, Miles made a promise. He whispered that he would not give up on her. That he would fight for her, for them, for everything they had lost and everything they could still become. But for now, he had to accept the truth. She needed time and he needed to change. The leaked footage of this moment spread across the internet within hours, sending fans into shock. Some cried for Miles, others defended Shen Yue, and many begged for them to find a way back to each other. Comment sections exploded with theories, debates, and emotional reactions. But the truth was simple. Two hearts, both hurting, both trying, both breaking, had reached a moment they could no longer ignore. And the world was left watching, waiting, and hoping for a second chance that might still come someday. The night felt heavier after Shen Yue walked away, leaving Miles frozen in the hallway. He stood there unable to breathe, unable to move as the memory of her last words echoed inside him. The silence wrapped around him like a cold shadow, and for a long moment he could only stare at the empty space where she had been standing. Finally he stepped outside, hoping the air would calm him, but it only made the ache sharper. He walked with his head down, his mind replaying everything she said, everything he failed to say. His heart felt split and every step made the pain worse. He whispered her name under his breath, hoping somehow she would hear him. Shen Yue meanwhile stood under a dim streetlight a few blocks away, her arms wrapped around herself as she tried to steady her breathing. She had walked away, but every part of her hurt. She whispered that she was sorry even though she knew he could not hear her. She needed space, but that did not make the heartbreak any easier. Miles reached a quiet park and sat on a cold bench. He ran his hands over his face, unable to hold back the emotions tearing through him. He whispered, "Please don't leave me again," but the night offered no answer. After a long moment he stood up. He could not end the night like this. He needed to talk to her one more time, even if it changed nothing. At the same time Shen Yue wiped her tears and began walking back, wanting clarity and needing to face the truth she was trying to run from. Fate led them to meet at a corner under the soft glow of a street lamp. They both froze when they saw each other, both exhausted, both hurting. Miles stepped closer and told her he was sorry. He told her he should have fought for them, that fear held him back, and that she meant more to him than he ever admitted. Shen Yue felt tears building again. She told him she walked away because she was losing herself in the pain. She did not want to give up on them, but she needed to breathe. She needed time to understand her own heart before she broke even more. Miles nodded even though it hurt. He told her he would wait, not because he wanted to hold her down, but because she was worth waiting for. Shen Yue gently touched his arm, her voice trembling as she said she cared about him deeply but needed to heal. She gave him a small heartbreaking smile and whispered goodnight. It was not an ending. It was a pause. Miles watched her walk away again, but this time there was hope instead of despair. The pain was still sharp, yet something inside him felt steady. Shen Yue felt it too as she walked. For the first time that night she felt lighter, as if a part of her heart had finally been understood. The leaked clip of their emotional reunion spread across the internet. Fans cried. Fans cheered. Many said it was the most real moment they had ever seen between the two stars. But for Shen Yue and Miles it was something deeper. A beginning rather than an ending. A promise rather than a goodbye. Their story was not over. It was simply waiting for the right time to continue.